but the story of their journey there was anything but complete. As the two best fighters in the world risk everything for history.
Is there a fighter in the world that can beat Bud Crawford? I ain't came across him yet. Everything happened for a reason, and I truly and firmly believe the reason for me to be in this situation right now is to become 3-time undisputed champion of the world.
I'm here in boxing to make history, and winning for me means a lot in this fight because he's one of the best in the last 15 years. He accomplished a lot and I accomplished a lot, and I think it's a perfect match.
I was excited, but I wasn't like, oh, I beat Spence, or I didn't. It was something that I already knew was gonna happen. I just needed the opportunity to show everyone.
He is willing to take a risk. This is literally uncharted territories for Terence Crawford.
I don't care. He can weigh 200. That's gonna be bad on him.
Don't let anyone tell you that the weight doesn't matter. It makes this a monumental accomplishment for Crawford.
Putting on muscle don't actually mean that you're gonna be slower, but you punch a little harder.
Yeah. Now I feel it. It's different. When we spar, it's a whole different. But now he got the power. He's always had power, but now it's a different power, man. And he still got the speed and the movement and agility is crazy, man. So his movement ain't nothing changed, man. They gonna see, man. And I wish it was September 12th right now. It'll be tomorrow, but we got 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks from tomorrow. Everybody gonna see. It's gonna be groundbreaking. It's gonna be something like spaceship landed on Earth. I'm telling you.
Crawford's sparring partner just revealed that something feels completely different this time. Power, speed, and movement on another level. And now, Canelo is coming straight into that storm, walking toward a fight that could shake the sport like never before. Meanwhile, Crawford's coach Spike stepped in with his own bold reassurance. He stated everything is going to work, everything is going to be perfect, his weight is good, his legs are fine, his mind is sharp, we've done our homework, everything's going to be fine. It was more than confidence. It sounded like certainty. Every detail, from weight to mindset, had already been sharpened with precision. The way Spikes delivered it, you could feel the calm before the storm, as if nothing had been left to chance. Canelo isn't just facing Crawford, he's walking into a camp that believes destiny is already sealed. And when that bell rings, the world may witness a night that redefines what's possible inside the ring. And then came a reality check from Spikes, reminding everyone that this isn't just about size.
First and foremost, Canelo is a smart fighter. Like, people are more concerned looking at the size, but Canelo is an intelligent boxer. There's always a method to what he's doing. So let me just make that clear. We're not going in there just looking at size. Canelo is smart. Canelo set traps.
Un saludo muy especial para toda la gente que está conectada con nosotros en todas las redes sociales. No te olvides de suscribirte con nosotros. Siempre estamos al tanto de lo que está pasando en el acontecer del boxeo mundial. 505 Boxing, siempre conectado con toda la gente que siempre está al tanto de lo que está pasando en el acontecer del boxeo. Muy buenos días, familia de 505 Boxing. Hoy no es un día normal. Hoy es un día de guerra en el boxeo mundial. Estamos a solo horas de ver uno de los combates más esperados de la historia en el 2025. Canelo Álvarez versus Terence Crawford. Dos campeones indiscutidos, dos mundos diferentes, una sola corona. Aquí vamos a analizar todo lo que está en juego, lo que está paso a paso, cara a cara, lo que vayamos a ver en esta noche, donde estos dos grandes creadores nos van a dar juegos artificiales y uno de los mejores espectáculos del 2025. Comenta en el chat quién gana y de dónde te estás comunicando. Esto es 505 Boxing sin filtro y sin miedo. Sin duda, una de las mejores peleas del 2025 y sin duda los dos grandes gladiadores, ninguno de los dos quiere perder. Todos los días vemos a dos campeones indiscutidos enfrentarse. Esto es más que un título, esto es una pelea por el respeto y el legado.
He further highlighted Canelo's training partners, but Spikes brushed it aside with confidence.
I mean, we can't be worried about what he's doing. He's doing the right thing to get.
En la última mirada que se miraron estos dos gladiadores, Canelo Álvarez al parecer respeta muchísimo a Terence Crawford, pero parecer que Terence Crawford se siente completamente seguro de que quiere demostrarle al mundo quién es el mejor en todas las divisiones. Canelo Álvarez, 61 victorias, 2 derrotas, 2 empates, 39 knockouts, campeón indiscutido en 168 libras. Ha vencido a Triple G, a Charlo, a Plant, a Sander Smith. Como boxeador que ha estado en la cima del boxeo por muchísimo tiempo. Una pelea sumamente con muchísima experiencia y precisión, gran defensa y poder en el cuerpo. Los dos grandes gladiadores van a demostrar sus juegos artificiales en cada división que han estado. El Crawford con 51 victorias, 0 derrotas y 31 knockouts. Indiscutido en 140 libras, 147 libras. Destruyó a Errol Spence Jr., dominó a Porter y a Brook. Cambia de guardia rápido, cerebral y activo. Es un boxeador nato que siempre cambia de defensa y puede mermar a cualquier boxeador desde el primer asalto hasta el último asalto. Esta noche veremos si la técnica puede vencer a la fuerza. ¿Puede Crawford enfrentar a un Canelo en su peso natural? Todos están preguntando esa misma pregunta.
The conversation then shifted to history and the truth that skills can erase size.
You know what, these type of fights.
Y esto fue lo que dijo el entrenador.
Usually people look at it as like the smaller fighter usually has to box and move. A lot of people draw comparisons to like Leonard and Hagler or any type of other fighter moving up. And the big key of it is speed. Is there truth behind all of that? I know that speed's always a component of all of it, but more than normal because of the fact that
I'm gonna say styles make fights.
Es lo que dice que la técnica hace el pelea.
Bigger guys over the years, like it's happened. Like you said, Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. You could say when Michael Spinks moved to heavyweight, he was a light heavyweight champion. Evander Holyfield was a light heavyweight cruiserweight champion. Usyk is a smaller guy. It's not a natural. I mean, he's grown into the weight now, but he's beating bigger guys with his boxing skill. I mean, it goes on and on. Skills pay the bills at the end of the day. It's just about being prepared, having a good game plan, and having the right dog in the race. You know what I mean? And that's what matters.
From Leonard to Usyk, the story has always been the same. Smaller men, smarter men, rising to shock giants. Spikes reminded everyone that boxing isn't math, it's art, timing, heart. Canelo may be the bigger man, but skill bends the rules of weight and reach. Crawford isn't just showing up to fight, he's showing up to rewrite the script. And history proves that underdogs with the right tools can make legends fall. That shadow now hangs over Canelo. Spikes then pulled back the curtain on sparring, admitting it wasn't always easy.
Madrimov was a tricky style. He did a lot of feints, he wasn't committing, he was very patient. You know, this is a completely different style from what Canelo's going to bring. So, you know, Madrimov gave us a little bit of difficulty. He came to win, he came prepared, but we overcame the obstacle. You know, and that's
y es lo que está diciendo en estos momentos el entrenador, es una verdadera lo que está diciendo sobre las técnicas de los dos grandes boxeadores. Sabemos que Canelo tiene una técnica sumamente depurada, sabemos que tiene su pegada sumamente sólida, pero Terence Crawford es un boxeador que puede mermar a cualquier boxeador cambiándose de guardia. Un análisis técnico completo de lo que vaya a pasar. Canelo buscará cortar el ring, eso sin duda. Es un boxeador ortodoxo que siempre trata de cortar el ring, castigar completamente al cuerpo. Es una de las batallas que Crawford va a enfrentar a un boxeador que le gusta mucho pelear al cuerpo.
I can't get into that, but I'm gonna say that I love Bivol. I love Dimitri Bivol. He's one of my favorite fighters. He lost to a hell of a fighter. He lost to a future Hall of Famer, and you know that's just that. There's nothing I can really say about that. He didn't lose to a regular guy. He lost to a pound for pound elite fighter. and a bigger guy at that. So, I mean, that's not much that I can really say about that. But as far as his improvements, he's shown some things, but you know, you'll see us exploit him on Fight Night.
He emphasized that yes, Canelo fell to Bivol, but Spikes made sure to frame it as a loss to greatness, not weakness. Respect was given, but respect doesn't equal fear. They've studied Canelo's improvements, dissected every adjustment he's made since, and behind Spikes' words was the promise that those same improvements will be turned into openings. On Fight Night, it won't be about the past, but about who bends the present to their will, and Spikes hinted that man will be Crawford. Then Spikes broke down one of the biggest myths surrounding the fight: size.
He's been sparring bigger guys since he was 14, 15 years old. So size doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's a skill. It's what you got up here and it's what you got here. Everything else will fall into place.
To him, size is just another illusion, one Crawford shattered years ago. From his teenage days, he's faced bigger, stronger men, and he's never flinched. What matters is what's in the mind and what's in the heart. That's where the real fight is won, not on the scales. Spikes delivered it like a warning to Canelo that his weight won't save him when skill takes over, and in that ring, the smaller man might carry the bigger punch. Spikes left the room with one chilling promise for Canelo.
One thing for sure, Canelo is going to feel his power. Canelo is going to respect Crawford. He's not going to be able to just walk through him and whatever he thinks. You know what I mean? Bud is a very strong fighter. He's a very good puncher. And like I said before, this is going to be the key.
Es lo mismo que les vuelvo a decir. Canelo buscará cortar el ring, castigar al cuerpo, romper guardia y posiblemente querer dar y propinar un knockout aproximadamente en el 9º asalto. Es una pelea sumamente complicadísima para Terence Crawford. En cambio, Crawford buscará medir el jab, cambiar el ritmo de guardia y sacarlo mentalmente del plan. Ganar por decisión o TKO técnico sería sumamente crucial para Terence Crawford.
People gotta understand, man, like every fight is different. There's so many.
Y en estos momentos estamos escuchando a profesionales del boxeo hablar y comentar sobre la pelea de esta noche.
This fight for Canelo, man, like it's not Fight Night yet, but him moving up, people are gonna be surprised, dude. It's not like he's a small guy and he just putting on a whole bunch of weight. Like, but he's a bigger frame. He always been bigger. He always had to cut down. He always had to cut down to them weights. So now he gets the difference from this fight is he won't have to cut down. He just go in the ring. You look at all this weights for all the other fights. It's 168, 170. So when he fought 154, he was like 170, 172 going in the ring. So he's gonna go in there the same way this fight. He's strong, man. He's strong.
Crawford isn't coming in as some undersized underdog. This is a version of Bud who won't be drained or held back. A fighter stepping into the ring at full strength. Nelson's words painted a picture of a man built for this weight, built for this moment. And if Canelo thinks size is going to be his advantage, he may be in for a rude awakening. The suspense grows heavier with every word because the truth is we won't know until the first punch lands. But when it does, the whole world will find out just how real this fight is. Later, Nelson pulled back the curtain even more, sharing stories that reveal a side of Crawford most people never get to see. It wasn't hype, it was history.
Man, me and Bud been sparring since I've been boxing. But even before I sparred, Bud always sparred bigger guys. You know, he's Lester Martinez and other heavyweights and light heavyweights and middleweights, wherever he can get, where he can get, man. And he always hold himself down. He always hold his ground, man. And people just don't know until they get in the ring. And they always say, just like Arrow said, man, Bud power is real. It's real, man. And it's like people say what he can and shouldn't, couldn't, haven't been. Like, that's what makes people great. Anybody that's ever been great, they always did something that.
La pregunta que siempre le han preguntado, ¿quién tiene la mejor esquina? Es una pregunta que todos nos estamos mirando.
real supporters, but a lot of people who's a doubter are gonna be like, dang. Or they're gonna come up with excuses like always.
From his earliest days in the gym, Bud was testing himself against giants, standing toe-to-toe with men much bigger and stronger. That's where the steel was forged, where the confidence we see today was born. Nelson's reminder carried weight. True greatness comes from defying the odds. The whispers of doubt have always followed Crawford, but so have the moments that silenced them. And this time, Nelson hinted the silence could shake the sport. Then Andre Ward stepped in, drawing from his own experience of moving up weight classes. What he revealed about Crawford's situation flipped the narrative completely.
I think the initial conversation was warranted. He's really moving up 3 weight classes since his last fight at 147 with Errol Spence roughly about 2 years ago. So it's really a 3 weight class jump. I think what people have to understand, and I had to understand this when I moved up to face Sergey Kovalev. I went and I consulted with Mackie Shields, and I kept using the phrase, I'm moving up in weight, I'm moving up in weight. I got to get my body ready to move up in weight. He said, have you seen the scale lately? Have you looked at your body scan lately? And I think at that time I was like maybe 185, 188. He said, you're not moving up in weight, you're just cutting less. And that was like, man, that was transformative for me because I looked and I was like, man, you're right. So technically I'm moving up weight classes, or a weight class in my case, but I'm really not moving up in weight. I'm just not having to boil myself down. So
it wasn't about bulking up or chasing pounds. It was about finally being free from the cut. Ward made it clear that Crawford isn't carrying a burden. He's shedding one. This isn't a man moving into unfamiliar territory. It's a man entering his natural zone. That kind of difference changes everything once the bell rings, because when your body feels whole, your mind fights without hesitation. And that's the version of Crawford Canelo we'll be facing. Ward didn't stop there. He broke down exactly why Crawford might show up stronger and sharper than ever before.
A lot stronger, and I think he's gonna have better endurance. Not being able to boil himself down like that, and even though it is a huge jump, I think we lose sight of the fact of how much he had to boil down and how gaunt he looked at 140, and even quickly at 147. It got to the point where you start to cut into muscle mass. If you know anything about weight loss, at a certain point, that affects you in a boxing ring. Boxing, maybe wrestling, and MMA are the only sports where you have to tear yourself down for two months or 3 months, not just the training, but the weight loss. And then you have less than or right around 24 hours to put it back on, and then you need to go be great the next night. Everybody else gets to play or compete at their walking around weight or their playing weight. So I think that's gonna favor Terence Crawford, is not having to boil down 25 or 20. It's probably gonna be about 10 to 12.
The endless grind of boiling down is gone. No more stripping muscle, no more walking into the ring drained. Ward reminded everyone that most athletes compete at their natural weight, but fighters suffer through a system that pushes them to the brink. Crawford has lived that life, and now he's stepping away from it. With more energy, more strength, and more time to focus purely on fighting, he becomes a different animal. And when you mix skill with fresh endurance, you get a dangerous recipe. That's the man Ward sees waiting for Canelo. Ward turned his attention directly to Canelo, and what he said carried the weight of a warning.
I think a couple of things are true. I think number one, I think Father Time is catching up to Canelo, but it's not, it's subtle. A little less punch output than normal. Maybe the reflexes have weaned just a little bit, but he's still better than most fighters in the world today. I don't think the Skull fight was a matter of age. I think Canelo Álvarez is extremely crafty, not just in the ring, but up here. And it's similar to a football team scrimmaging early in preseason. I'm not pulling out the playbook. I'm gonna give you some mundane vanilla plays. We'll run some power left or some power right. We'll do a couple of slants. We'll show a little bit, but when we play you in the season, it's not gonna be the same guy that you saw. So if people think that they're getting the Canelo Álvarez that fought Scrub, they're sadly mistaken. I think Canelo did just what he had to do. But when you face a real threat and you're a great fighter, you elevate mentally, psychologically, physically, because you have to. Canelo Álvarez is going to be different come September 13th.
He hinted at something subtle. That time might be catching up, but greatness always has another gear. Canelo may look slower in certain fights, but Ward made it clear that champions don't show their full hand until it matters. And against a threat like Crawford, Canelo will rise, sharpen, and come alive. That's where the danger lies. Not in what we've seen, but in what's still hidden. Ward's words left the sense that September won't reveal the old Canelo or the fading Canelo. It will reveal a Canelo we've never seen before, and one Crawford must be ready to break. After laying out the fine margins between greatness and decline, the conversation shifted to another respected voice in boxing. Adam Smith gave his own perspective, and it carried the weight of experience.
I think Canelo is known. I think Canelo, obviously the Mexican machismo that holds all the super middleweight titles, nearly 70-odd fights. He's been phenomenal. I think he's 35 now. But for Terence Crawford, he has definitely gone under the radar. 4-weight world champion, 41-0, 31 knockouts. A southpaw who's got IQ and speed and craft. I think it's a fabulously interesting matchup, the two of them, because you've got the big guy, the strong super middleweight, really, really cultured, wonderful fighter in Canelo. But is he just slightly, ever so slightly, fine margins past his peak? And you've got Crawford, who needs this fight as his coming out party.
His words felt like a warning wrapped in analysis, pointing to a fight balanced on a razor's edge. He didn't dismiss Canelo's power or legacy, but he hinted that Crawford's timing could be perfect. It painted the picture of a showdown where skill and intelligence might outshine brute force. Every angle he raised only added more tension to the story of September 13th. And by the end, you couldn't help but feel that this wasn't just another fight. It was destiny meeting resistance. One man defending his empire, and the other trying to carve his name into history. As the discussion deepened, Adam Smith didn't hold back from addressing the toughest question. Could Crawford actually pull it off?
Do it. It's a huge step again in weights. But I think he's got the speed, and I think he's got the know-how, I'm sure we'll talk about it more next week, to cause problems for Canelo. And I think that he could win it on points.
His answer didn't come lightly. It wasn't hype. It was measured belief. He weighed Crawford's speed, IQ, and adaptability against the mountain of experience that is Canelo. And somehow, his words left the door wide open for an upset. It's the kind of prediction that makes fans lean forward in their seats, pulse racing, wondering if history is about to bend. By the time he finished, it felt less like speculation and more like a spark that ignited the possibility of a seismic shock. When it came to breaking down the fight on paper, Robert Garcia didn't shy away from the reality of the challenge Crawford faces. He laid out the danger in blunt terms.
Well, look, on paper, Canelo should win. Canelo's bigger and stronger, and if Canelo lands good punches, I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping 2 divisions where he only had one fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that, and that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford. But
the weight, the size, the power, it all tilts toward Canelo, and Garcia's words reminded everyone of just how high the mountain really is. Questions about Crawford's move up in divisions only add to the tension. It's the kind of uncertainty that fuels doubt but also ignites curiosity, because in boxing, the what if is often the spark that lights the fire, and in this case, the doubt only makes the stage for September feel even bigger. But Garcia didn't leave it at that. He also gave Crawford his due, showing why this fight can't be written off so easily.
I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially because
flawless night could change history. It was cautious hope, wrapped in the acknowledgement of risk. And yet, his words gave life to the idea that Crawford's skill might be enough. That maybe, just maybe, the upset is real. And then Garcia pointed to the one factor that could truly open the door for Crawford, Canelo's recent form.
But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed. looking for one punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it off. Would I put my money on it? Probably not, but I do give him a chance.
He spoke about the signs, the small cracks that only a sharp eye can see, the slower feet, the single shot hunting, the moments where the fire seemed dimmer. If that version of Canelo shows up, the fight could swing in Crawford's favor. It's not about strength, it's about sharpness, timing, and staying a step ahead. Garcia's perspective turned the fight into a chess match, where speed and strategy might checkmate brute power, and that possibility is what makes this matchup electric. Meanwhile, Sebastian Fundora has also highlighted that Canelo has already proven his dominance at 168, collecting every belt and solidifying himself as the man to beat. Crawford, on the other hand, is stepping into unknown territory, and the jump in weight brings more questions than answers.
He's comfortable at 168, you know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world, but it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year, so I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, you know, of course he's probably been training, you know, again, high-class fighter, but to be comfortable at 168, you're gonna have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion.
Sebastian pointed out that